Hey, have you been hunting for a ready-to-play gaming PC that can actually keep up with the newest titles without breaking the bank? I get it, building a rig from scratch can feel like a full-time job, and you still end up wondering if you chose the right parts. Well, I've been testing the Skytech Archangel, and I wanted to share what I found after a few weeks of everyday use. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the core of the machine is an Intel Core i5-14400F. It's a 12-core processor that pushes up to 4.7 GHz on turbo, so you're getting a lot of headroom for both games and the occasional Photoshop session. Pair that with an NVIDIA RTX 5060 with 8 GB of GDDR7 memory, and you've got a graphics card that comfortably handles 1080p high-refresh gaming and even dips into 1440p territory on a lot of current releases. What that means for me is smoother frame rates in fast shooters like Valorant and Apex Legends, and fewer hiccups when I spin up a massive open world like Starfield. In practice, I'm seeing 7080 FPS on high settings without having to constantly tweak the graphics sliders. One of the most noticeable real-world benefits is the storage speed. Skytech ships the Archangel with a 1TB NVMe SSD, and I've timed some load screens that normally take a few seconds on a SATA drive and they're down to under half a second. That translates to quicker map loads in Call of Duty, faster character switching in Cyberpunk 2077, and basically no waiting when I'm moving from one application to another on my secondary work PC. If you're someone who likes to juggle gaming with streaming or video editing, that speed can shave minutes off your workflow each day. Another practical perk is the built-in Wi-Fi 802.11 AC. I live in a small apartment where running Ethernet isn't always convenient, and the wireless connection has been rock solid for both gaming and streaming movies. There's no noticeable latency spike when I'm in a multiplayer match, and the signal holds up even when the router is on the other side of the room. The inclusion of Wi-Fi also means you're ready to plug this unit into a TV in a bedroom or a living room setup without hunting for cables. Cooling can be a headache, especially if you're pushing a GPU that's already demanding. Skytech fitted the Archangel with a high-performance air cooler that keeps the CPU temps under 70 degrees Celsius during extended gaming sessions. In my own tests, the fans stay relatively quiet, so I can have a late-night gaming session without worrying about the PC sounding like a jet engine. The case itself has decent airflow, and because it's a pre-built, you don't have to worry about installing fan curves or ordering separate cooling solutions. From a future-proofing perspective, the 32 GB of DDR4 3200 RAM gives you a healthy buffer for anything from modern titles to upcoming releases that start demanding more memory. Most games today run fine with 16 GB, so you have double that, which also helps if you ever decide to run a virtual machine or use the machine for some light development work. The power supply is a 650W gold-rated unit, enough juice for the current components and a modest upgrade path if you want to swap in a higher-end GPU later on. Now, let's talk about the downsides I spotted. The case, while functional, is pretty basic. No flashy RGB lighting or tempered glass panels. If you're the kind of person who likes a showpiece that doubles as a room centerpiece, you might feel a little underwhelmed. Also, the PSU, while solid for the stock configuration, doesn't leave a huge amount of headroom if you plan on adding a lot of extra drives or a very power-hungry card down the line. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to keep in. For most buyers, the real question is not whether Skytech Gaming Archangel Gaming PC, Intel i5-14400F 2.5 GHz, NVIDIA RTX 5060, 1TB NVMe SSD, 32 GB DDR4 RAM 3200, 650W Gold PSU, Wi-Fi, Win 11, desktop sounds impressive on paper, but whether strengths like Intel Core i5-14400F 2.5 GHz, 4.7 GHz Turbo Boost, CPU processor, and NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5068GB GDDR7 graphics card, brand may vary, actually make daily use feel easier, more dependable, and more worthwhile after the first few days of excitement wear off.